Well, hello there, all you lucky contestants.
Hey, Stevie.
Hey.
Are you ready for your big prize?
Sure am.
How about you step up here on the stage?
Stepping up there, yeah.
Hold out your hand.
Here it is, baby.
Grab a hold of the handle.
I'm all
and get that
hands.
big wheel a spin. Because we're ready for another action-filled episode of
Red Movierama!
And then we've got an electrifying episode for you this time because we're going to take our chances and we're going to look at the 1987 movie Deathrow Gameshow.
Hey, Skippy, I know that we just heard everybody before that sounded like they were really excited till they heard the name of the movie, and I think nobody's really excited anymore.
Well, why not? I mean, have you seen this movie?
Well, I don't really think that I have to know that something named Deathrow Game Show is going to be pretty much terrible.
But now, come on, Aswell. Have I let you down yet?
Repeatedly, Skippy, repeatedly.
No, now, come on. I know you've had a lot of fun on this show.
Yeah, that's what my therapist says.
Well, and I think we ought to just go ahead and jump right into this one. So, Rick, take it away.
Deathrow Game Show, also known in France as La Deathrow Game Show, is a 1987 black comedy film in which condemned prisoners are given the opportunities to be granted reprieves for their sentences by participating in a television game show. Directed by Mark Pirro and starring John McCafferty. That's all I got for this one. That's a wrap, fellas. Back to you, Rick.
You're gonna have to try to stretch it out a little bit more. You've got more time.
Seriously, that's all I've got.
You need more.
Back to you, Rick.
Nope. No, still more.
Come on, guys.
And that ought to do it.
You see there, Skippy? I mean, even Dan doesn't seem excited about this one, and he's always got a lot to say.
Well, I think you'll all feel a bit different when we get into this. So let's kick it off. This movie starts off with a game show setting.
Well, hold the phone. Who would have seen that coming?
Yeah, it's a game show, and the show is called Live or Die. And they have a death row inmate, and he's in a guillotine, and they ask the inmate questions to either prolong their life or leave money behind for their family, who also happen to be out in the crowd.
Okay, hold on. So, prisoner in a guillotine.
Yep, on stage.
And he's might have his head chopped off in front of a crowd.
Yeah, it's a TV show.
And not only that, but his family is sitting out there watching this.
Yeah, because they could win a lot of money.
Man, what kind of sicko movie are we watching here?
Well, that's what we're trying to get to. But anyways, they show the inmate a clip from a movie, and the inmate is supposed to guess what movie it is, and he guesses wrong.
Oh, no.
But they make a deal with him for the family. It said when the head comes off, if it lands in the basket face up, his family gets $10,000.
What?
And after the blade is dropped, and the judges come out and confirm that is, in fact, the head is faced up, and the crowd goes crazy, and the family is happy, and, you know, his wife says, I never thought he would amount to anything.
How in the... Skippy, I'm convinced you need help. How can you watch this garbage?
I was hoping that when his head come down, his brains would fly out of his head.
Sir, we already know how screwed up you are. If you could just zip it.
Just relax, Aswell. This is just for fun. And now we get to meet Chuck, and he's the host of the show. And we get a little insight of his normal life, and people really hate him because of the show.
Well, ho. What a surprise there. So what kind of guy is this guy?
Well, he's kind of your typical preppy TV personality guy, and really kind of a sleazeball at the same time. And while he's leaving, there's people protesting in the street outside the back of the show, and when he's driving down the road, there's people yelling at him, telling him that he sucks, but you know what? It doesn't bother him at all.
Well, you know, like Mom always says, sticks and stones.
Oh, I like that song. That's a good one from Randy Travis.
Yeah, that's what we need is another Randy around here.
Anyways, to get back to the movie, we go to another episode of Live or Die, where the next inmate has to decide between an envelope and what's behind curtain number 2? And he picks the curtain, and behind the curtain is a noose.
This movie ought to be banned.
Yeah, maybe so. But then the show cuts away to a commercial break where they have another inmate, and they're trying to do a taste test for some cheese spread. And one of the crackers that he's eating has cheese spread on it, and the other cracker has cheese-flavored rat poison on it. So you know how this one ends.
Holy jeez. Who wrote this story? Did Stephen King write this story, or whoever it is? These people are messed up in the head. They shouldn't be allowed out in public, Skippy. And you should be ashamed of yourself for watching this.
Well, speaking of public, Chuck goes on a morning talk show and debates against a woman named Mary. And she's pretty much against everything that the show stands for. And then after the show, when Chuck's going out to his car, she confronts him out in the parking lot. And while they're talking, 2 guys with hoods come up with guns, and they're going to shoot Chuck. And he ends up grabbing Mary and throwing her in the car, and they take off down the road, and he kind of takes her to safety.
Well, at least he's trying to be a good guy.
Hey, do they get together later and try to do the safety dance?
Not funny, Randy. Not funny at all. At all.
Actually, when they stop and Mary asks Chuck why these guys were trying to kill him, and he says it's because they worked for a crime boss that was on their show. And then we get a flashback of the show where the crime boss was on there, and he was strapped to a chair.
Oh, no.
And he's got electrodes hooked up to his
nose?
Longfellow.
Oh, that's hot. That's crazy.
And they make the lady come out and do a strip tease in front of him, and as long as he doesn't get a boner,
Hot.
he doesn't get electrocuted.
That's so hot. Okay, Skippy, just stop it right there, Skippy. This movie has to be the biggest pile of garbage I've ever heard of. I mean, what kind of movie would consider this as entertainment?
Well, I will admit that it's pretty wild, but it's in a fun way, and it's the 80s, so, you know, anything goes. But anyways, the striptease doesn't work, and the crime boss makes it through okay. And then Chuck goes up to congratulate him, and when he puts his hand on his shoulder, the crime boss gets a boner and he gets fried, and the crowd goes crazy.
Holy jeez, I want off of this ride right now.
Ironically, that's exactly what Mary says when he tells her the story, and she gets out of the car, and Chuck drives away.
What's this over here? Baboons playing with machine guns. No way. No way. Get real. I've got shoes that are older than that.
You know what? That's a very good point, no way, because now the movie cuts away to a dream sequence that Chuck is having while he's lying in bed, and I have to give this movie credit. It's a pretty cool idea.
Well, it's probably because he's feeling so guilty.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. And it cuts to the next day, and Chuck pulls into the parking lot of his work, and there's this crazy guy out there that just keeps wanting to be on his show, and he keeps asking Chuck about what does he got to do to be a contestant. And Chuck says, you know, it isn't that easy. You kind of have to get on death row.
Well, oh boy, I guess the cheese must have fell off his cracker a long time ago. I mean, no one in their right mind would want to be on this show, more or less living this movie.
Yeah, and the next day, Chuck is at work at his office, and Mary comes in and tells him that she's been threatened because the gangsters now think that she is Chuck's girlfriend because of the incident in the parking lot. And she's kind of scared and freaked out, and she wants Chuck to clear that up with the bad guys.
Well, yes, I would imagine so. I mean, she could be in a lot of danger for no reason.
And while they're in there, Luigi Pappalardo shows up.
Skippy, who is Luigi Pappalardo?
He's that guy that makes those pizzas down on 2nd Street. Boy, I like those pizzas, boy, with all the cheese and the sauce. Makes me real hungry, makes me want some lunch. Matter of fact, I've got a song about it right now. Knock, knock. Who's there? The pizza boy. Pizza boy, who? Pizza is my favorite food. Elvis in an inner tube. The pizza boy is knocking at your door.
Yeah, Randy, that's what you need to do, is eat some more, you tubbo.
Actually, it's a different guy than that, Randy. This guy claims to be the world's greatest hitman, and he was hired to take out Chuck for killing the crime boss.
Well, it's about time somebody takes this jackass out.
Actually, Luigi cuts him a deal. First, he asks for tickets for his mom so she can go see her favorite show that records right next door to Live or Die, which is a show called Let's Make a Big Deal.
Stupid.
And while Luigi is giving Chuck and Mary the business, Luigi's mom is wandering around the studio dressed as a convict.
That's so stupid. Why would she be dressed like a convict, Skippy?
Well, because on her favorite show, Let's Make a Big Deal, they dress up to get the game show host attention, and that's how they win prizes.
Well, I don't see how this is not going to get confused and mixed up in any way, Skippy. Well, maybe she'll end up having a good time anyways.
Well, actually, she kind of gets lost and gets led to the wrong show and ends up being on stage on Live or Die.
Oh, no. This is terrible.
Yeah, and while all that's happening, then Luigi is telling Chuck that he'll spare his life if he will pay some protection money once a year and not kill any more people that are in the crime boss's family.
Well, it sounds like he's getting off lucky then.
Well, I wouldn't really say lucky because Chuck ends up blowing up Luigi's mom in a gasoline fire.
Like gasoline?
yeah!
What? That's crazy.
That little old lady flopping around with her face burning off.
Well, there you go then, because now Chuck's messing it all up again. Luigi's going to kill him for sure.
Well, not only that, but he made Mary go out on a date with him and go eat. And he thinks that Mary is going to marry him.
Oh, boy. Well, that's not good at all. Maybe she can convince him that it was all a big mistake.
Well, maybe so, but they go back to Chuck's office, and Luigi goes and uses the bathroom, and Mary and Chuck are trying to figure out what are they going to do to get out of this mess. And then Luigi comes out of the bathroom, and he sees his mom on TV getting blown up.
Well, now Mary and Chuck they're as good as gone. I feel sorry for her, but he needs to go.
Well, I'll tell you what, it gets pretty intense at this point, and Luigi pulls out a gun to shoot Chuck, and right before he shoots, Mary hits Luigi over the head with a flower pot, and they come up with a plan. They're going to put Luigi on TV as the next contestant in Live or Die.
Well, I'm starting to think that this lady is just as bad as Chuck is. So what do they do with Luigi then?
Well, they put him in an airtight tank, and he's only got so much time to spell out, "I want to live," with some children's spelling blocks. And while he's performing the task, they're sucking the oxygen right out of the tank.
Well, I have to say, even though that's really disgusting and disturbing, that's pretty creative. So, does the big buffoon, does he spell the words in time?
Oh, yeah, he actually does get it done, but then Chuck goes over and kicks the glass, and it knocks the blocks over and has to start all over again, and he doesn't make it the second time. And the crowd goes wild.
Holy jeez. Skippy, this movie is really, really warped.
Well, hold on. It's not over yet. So Jack goes back to his office to tell Mary that it's all over with, and they embrace in a hug, and then they kiss, and then they start getting it on his desk.
Oh, yeah, making love on the desk. That's hot.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I mean, doesn't she absolutely hate this guy?
Yeah, and actually she kind of calls him on it because that's exactly what's going on here. It was a daydream in his head. And she asked him, was your mind on something else? And he says, I don't know. Why? She says, oh, it's just a feeling I had. And then the camera pans down, and he's got his hand on her boob.
Oh, a little boob action. That's hot.
Sir, please. I mean, he did not have permission, first of all. And second of all, now you see right here, this is a great example of why this movie is not worth watching.
Well, just hold on as well, because something else we just found out is Luigi is not dead, and he's still coming after Chuck.
Well, hallelujah pancakes. Well, maybe he'll finally do the job right, and somebody will be dead.
Well, that's not a good attitude, asshole. What if I told you that Chuck was having a change of heart, and he wanted to quit the show, and he said he would do one more show, and then he's done? And then Mary's out in the lobby, and she hears him having this conversation with his boss when he says it, and she's shocked as well.
Well, Skippy, let me think it over. Since you gave me that information, nope, I still don't care, and I hope he dies.
Well, anyways, Chuck goes to record the last episode, and Luigi finds Mary and says that he has to go and kill Chuck.
Yep, he needs to do it.
Anyways, back to recording the final episode of Live or Die. They've got possibly the weirdest episode that they've done yet, where you've got a guy that's been in solitary confinement for 15 years.
Lame.
And has eaten nothing but bread and Twinkies,
Twinkies.
for all that time, and They put a roasted turkey in front of him, and then they've got a sexy lady in front of him.
What?
And then they have 3 contestants off to the side watching, and they're writing down their answers of what do they think that the convict, when they let him out, what will he go for first? And if you answer wrong, then a 100-pound bag of sand gets dropped on your head and it kills you.
Well, two things, Skippies. One, this is really stupid. And 2, it sounds like they're just kind of trying too hard now to come up with something. So do they let this crazy guy out then?
Yes, sir, they sure do.
Well, let me guess. Does he go after the sexy lady?
Nope, he's not even interested.
So I guess he's interested in just eating a good piece of turkey then.
Oh, I love that turkey, boy.
Stuff it, Randy.
Yeah, he does go after the turkey, but not in the way that you would think.
I don't know what you mean by that. What are you talking about, Skippy?
Well, he ends up having sex with the turkey.
What?
Yeah, this movie gets hotter every minute.
Holy gee, Studley, this movie needs help. This show needs help. All the other co-hosts need help. You most definitely need help. Maybe some shock therapy.
Calm down, Aswell. We're almost there.
I'm telling Mom.
While the game show is going on, Luigi comes out on the stage, and he puts everyone except Mary and Chuck into the jail cell, which the crazy guy was in earlier, that's on the stage, and puts Mary and Chuck inside that airtight cell that he was in earlier, and says, "Let the games begin."
Also, it's like Luigi's Revenge. Hey, I think, isn't there a video game called that?
It so is. I did the music for it. You want to hear?
Stuff it, Randy. Anyways, I'm kind of liking this Luigi guy now.
Well, while Chuck and Mary are suffocating in that cell, the Luigi gets shot in the back.
What? Well, who in tarnations did that?
Oh, well, it ends up being that crazy dude that was out in the parking lot that always wanted to be on the show. He shoots Luigi, and he opens up the cell and lets Chuck and Mary out. But once again, Luigi isn't dead.
Well, thank goodness. He must have like 9 lives or something.
Yeah, and then he picks up his gun, and while he's laying on the ground, Luigi tries to shoot Chuck, but ends up hitting the crazy parking lot guy instead.
Well, to me, if you had hit any of these losers, then you're doing everyone a service. They all need to be shot.
You know, I really can't disagree with you, but as soon as Luigi shoots the crazy parking lot guy, Luigi just collapses on the ground and takes his final breath.
Oh, so now he dies. He's not gonna pop up again later, is he? Like some kind of Jason Myers or something, is he?
No, he's out for good, and Chuck and Mary go out and get in Chuck's car and drive off together. And then Chuck tells her that he's quitting the show, and Mary says that she already knew that, and they were going to continue their life together.
Well, that's stupid. I mean, what's going to happen if they ever have their, first disagreement? Is he going to, have her knocked off or something?
Well, Mary believes he's had a change of heart, and then he says, "I don't know what I'm going to do with a room full of dead bodies." And Mary says, "Well, I'm sure you'll think of something." And then during the end credits of the movies, he's using the bodies in commercials to test out products, like throwing a body into an electric fence and testing out some knives, watches, all kinds of stuff like that.
Well, this is absolutely horrible, Skippy. And you know what they say about these movies. I'm concerned about you because they say the people that watch these kind of movies, they go out and try to recreate what they saw in these things. So I advise you, Skippy, you stop watching this stuff or you're going to end up just like Chuck.
Well, it's probably a little too late for that. So, come on, man. Didn't you find some of this kind of fun?
Skippy, this movie is horrible, disgusting, lewd, weird sexual acts, murder. Yeah, it was okay.
Well, all right. So what about the rest of you? What did y'all think?
It was so good.
Well, that's cool, because I know deep down this movie is not that great, and it's very, very low budget. But you know what? If you're sitting at home with nothing to do, you can throw this movie on and have a pretty decent time. It's ridiculous. It's really cheap, but it's still pretty rad. Speaking of rad, we will see you rad truckers later on. See you later, people.